What's up and welcome back to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, April 21st, 2023. Of course, I'm Tim Geddes, and it is my pleasure to introduce for my very first time the Senior Director of Development at Able Gamers, Steve Spohn.
Oh my gosh, it is our first time. Wow, let's go.
Dude, it's exciting. I've known you for many years, but never did a show with you. This is the first time.
No, Greg always captures me. I'm never allowed to host with you. And so finally we beat him down. We said we have to do this together. Here we are.
Let Tim and Steve host. You'll love to see it. How you doing, man?
I am good on a Friday, but it is a stressful Friday. I hope you're doing a little less stressed than I am.
You know, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm sitting pretty over here. Why would you be stressed right now, Steve?
I am super stressed over tomorrow's big event with Able Gamers, where we are hosting our very, very first annual virtual gala. It's not something that has been done in the video game industry before, as far as we're aware, and it's one of those things where you're doing something new, something cool, and I'm hoping everybody loves it.
I am so excited for this. Congratulations on all the hard work going into it. What an amazing idea. Is there anything that you want our audience to know about it? Can they be a part of it?
I hope that all of the Kinda Funny best friends will come out in force tomorrow. We've been chirping about this on Twitter for weeks now. It is a virtual gala that's going to start tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Anybody is invited for a $25 donation. You can see on the screen there, we've got a whole run of the show starting at 4 p.m. Eastern. You're going to get to meet all of your cool content creator friends that you see me palling around. Little Simsy, Bruce Green, the Kinda Funny best friend. We have the Rooster Teeth crew coming out. We have John Reisinger, Defied by Kai. Just so many names that you know and love. Unfortunately, Greg wanted a $75 million fee to show up. Couldn't afford him.
Classic Greg.
Classic Greg. Yeah, he wanted that or like a truck of Oreos. I don't know. This was strange to ask, but yeah. So there's going to be a lot of cool people there. I think like my favorite part though is we're going to premiere a world premiere video tomorrow, which I think everyone's going to love. I hope to have tears in your eyes, Tim. I hope that you're proud of us, what we've done, and all the Kinda Funny support over the years has been enabled by you and your friends to why we're here and helping as many people with disabilities to play games as we are.
I absolutely love it, everybody. ablegamers.org/gala. You can go there and be part of it all. Definitely support. What an amazing cause. What an amazing event, Steve. Very, very proud of you and everybody over there doing such amazing stuff. But for now, let's talk about some video game news. Today's stories include back and forth about Hi-Fi Rush, Xbox working on a 10-year sequel, and more, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames and youtube.com/kindafunnygames. We come at you with all the video game news that you need to know. You can watch it later on youtube.com or roosterteeth.com, but you can also get it as a podcast by searching your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny Games Daily, and we will be right there for you. If you wanted to get the show ad-free, though, and get a whole bevy of bonus content, including some of my favorite shows we do, The Shit List, Kinda Feudy, Greg Ways, so much great stuff, you got to go to patreon.com/kindafunny, just like our Patreon producers, Tripod Plus Plus and Delaney Twining have done. So much great housekeeping for you today. Today, The Dead Walk, Greg Miller's going to help you end them. That's right, Greg's playing Dead Island 2 on PS5 as part of a sponsored stream, and if you have the game and are watching live, Greg might come help you fight the undead. Tune in on Twitch and YouTube right after this, right after Games Daily. It's going to be a great day of shenanigans. If you're looking for something a little bit more loving, a little bit more sexy, guess what? Love, Sex, and Stuff is back. We recorded an episode last night. It's live now on youtube.com/kindafunny. It was an absolute banger, some major reveals. It was a really good time, and it was really awesome having call-ins from the audience and being able to give some advice out there, hopefully make the world a slightly better place. And speaking of a better place, I'm in a better place because I have now seen Barrett Courtney's latest video essay about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and you too can do that on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. It's the perfect way to get hype for Star Wars Jedi Survivor coming next week. Steve, are you a Jedi guy?
I cannot wait for the game. I love the Jedi world. I'm just such a fanboy. I can't wait for all that stuff to come out.
That is awesome. If you're looking for some extra hype, you should definitely check out this video because it'll get you in the mood for sure. Also, our review of Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores is up right now on PS I Love You XOXO. And then over on Patreon, there are 2 new Remember Blanks where Greg, Mike, and Bless remember their favorite DLCs and where they remember the games they can't believe came out. Today, we're brought to you by Rocket Money, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Story number 1. Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for Xbox. This comes from Aaron Greenberg via Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming. Vice President of Xbox Games Marketing Aaron Greenberg has issued a small statement on Twitter following previous claims that Hi-Fi Rush didn't make the money it needed to make. In the latest episode of Game Mess Decides podcast, industry insider Jeff Grubb said that Hi-Fi, who was also a part of Love and Sex Stuff last night, Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. Wait, sorry. Missed my spot here. In the latest episode of Game Mess Decides podcast, industry insider Jeff Grubb said that Hi-Fi Rush didn't make the money it needed to make. The comment was picked up industry-wide, which has seemingly prompted Aaron Greenberg to clear up the matter. On Twitter, Greenberg said, Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. Following the statement from Greenberg, Jeff Grubb said in his latest episode on Giant Bomb after the statement was read out to him, okay, that's fine, we'll leave it as that. The previous coverage has led to some pretty outlandish theories from the gaming community, including that Microsoft might abandon the Xbox platform and more. That is wild. According to Bethesda, the game reached 2 million players by March 1st, and in late February, director John Johannes said that the game received 10,000 Steam reviews nearly a full month after release. Xbox seems to be firm on the fact that shadow dropping the game was a success, with Greenberg's comments further cementing their decision as being successful. Steve, what are your thoughts on this?
You know, it's always wild because you never know what's PR and what's reality when it comes to these Twitter back and forth statements on different shows. You got to wonder, like, when they're talking about that many players, is that was it because of Game Pass? Was it because the game was available on any kind of system that could allow people to play without having to purchase it? I don't know. I kind of always wonder why do we so worry about whether or not a game. I like Jeff, but I don't know why would we worry about whether or not the game has 1 million players or more. I'm always just like, did people enjoy it? Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I see where Jeff's coming from with this, because what he's just talking about is, like, from what he heard, it's the financial side, and the financial side is important for games we enjoy happening again and more things like it happening again. And I think that the conversation's interesting when you look at Game Pass and how it has changed the industry and the distribution model, and on top of that, the financial model of how these games are made and how consumers are able to consume them and show their support for the different IP and different developers and publishers out there. Mm-hmm. But Xbox, or Aaron replying to this, it's a funny thing where I think both of these things can be true. What Jeff is saying of, like, hey, from what he heard, this did not make the money they needed it to on that side. Those just aren't the metrics that Aaron and them are looking at because of things like Game Pass and because of just a success can be graded in many different ways when it comes to video games.
Yeah, was it because of the numbers of eyeballs? Is it, like, for example, me being on Twitch as much as I am, I know a lot of people that played this and a lot of eyeballs that were on the game, but does that count towards the metrics of downloading the game? Does it count if you don't sell the game? Do they care as far as whether a game was a success or a flop? All things that it seems to change game for game. Sometimes you hear, like, it doesn't matter, sometimes it does, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Hi-Fi Rush, and I feel like it's one of the biggest wins Xbox has had in a while, and I think one of the biggest wins the industry's had in a while. Like, a genuine surprise out of nowhere that we all loved and had a great time with. And I think it's really exciting that the year kicked off with a new IP on the Xbox side that I presume will be in the Game of the Year conversations. Maybe not the top spot, but the top 10, I think, for sure, especially for Kind of Funny. So I do want to see that game do well, and I just think that it's even a bigger bummer for me to see the Jeff side of this news of it not doing well enough financially, when we also covered a couple weeks ago, or months ago at this point, when Hi-Fi Rush first came out, that it was kind of crushing on Steam, and it was doing super well and being on the top of the charts. It's a little disconcerting that even those numbers aren't good enough on the financial
Mm.
side. Again, success can mean many things, as Aaron pointed out.
What exactly is success for a game nowadays when you have, what was the statistic that they came out with about a month ago where it was like every year Steam put out 360 some games and now they put out 360 per week. It's like, where do you put your success at that point? If everyone's talking about it and everybody loves it and it's a good game that's new and does something cool, I consider that a success.
Yeah, for sure. And I just think that when you look at, again, we're now years into this generation of this console cycle, and to see what PlayStation's been able to do on its side, Nintendo and Xbox, all of them having their own kind of defined lanes, and to see where that vision started to where we're at now, I do think Xbox is one of the more interesting ones because of this Game Pass factor. And pundits and internet people have talked for years now about, like, where's the money coming from? Is this going to bottom out where Game Pass is devaluing video games, or is it adding value to having a quantity of experiences for people that is where people want to go? And we always talk about Xbox Game Pass being the best deal in gaming, but at some point it's like, is that deal just for the audience? Is it going to negatively affect the devs and pubs out there to be able to make bigger, better games, or just more games, whatever it is that they want? So as far as I'm concerned, as long as what Aaron is saying is being backed up by Microsoft and supporting the teams being able to do things, then this is kind of a win-win where we've figured out a way where it doesn't necessarily need to be about the money in every single case, although we all know that it is the case in most places.
Yeah, it always has to come back to the bottom line. I think all gamers understand that, but the Xbox Game Pass is the best in the business because it allows so much. I mean, and that's not even talking about the accessibility of something. What if you can't play it because you don't want to, or what if you can't play it because you physically can't? And Xbox Game Pass allows you to be like, oh, actually, I can play that, which actually, funny enough, happened to me with Hi-Fi Rush. I didn't think I'd be able to play it because of the way it controls. Tried it out, and turns out it was playable, and I did like it. So it was a good experience, and I was glad I was able to play it.
Has Game Pass really been like a transformative platform for you in that sense?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, remember the era of the demos is so dead now, right? They just don't do demos like they used to in the early 2000s. And so because of that, a lot of times you would end up buying a game, and if you're physically disabled, or even vision, and sometimes the deaf gamers who can't play because of the audio cues not being there, would have to return games because you learned within the first 6 minutes you can't play it. You just wasted your $60. And Game Pass allows you to get around that to where you can play, you can enjoy, and you can try out things that you didn't think you could play. That happened to me with Rocket League. I actually hated that game. I even said on Twitter how much of a stupid game that was. Who would want to hit a ball with a car? Oh, that was so horrible. And it turned out that it was just like, I really just wanted to play it, and I couldn't, and I was mad about it. And so when I tried it out, so a friend bought it for me, and I was like, oh, actually, hold on. They put in this mode with a mouse. I can play it. Fantastic. And then I was its biggest fan. So, I think there's that backlash you got to worry about. If someone thinks they can't do something, they'll say they hate it, even if they would love it.
I love that. Steve, while I have you here, I want to ask, like, with where we're at in 2023 right now, top level, do you think that Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are doing a bad, okay, good, or great job when it comes to standardizing accessibility options in their games?
The fact that we are having this conversation right now and you're asking me about it is a sign that we're doing okay. It's out there. People care about it more. The trolls that are yell about, accessibility is stupid are less and less. And because more people care, more people are realizing that we should share this video game love that we have for the world with each other and make sure that more people can play. So I think they're doing better and better. Nintendo obviously has a ways to go, as my inbox will tell you whenever I tried them on a show like this and they say, Steve, please stop saying that. But they do have a ways to go. And then hopefully they'll catch up. So many cool new things like the Xbox controller, but now the Sony PlayStation Leonardo project coming out. Like, man, it's a good time to be a disabled gamer, not just a gamer.
That's so awesome, man. That is so awesome. So Hi-Fi Rush, you were saying, can you talk a little bit more about like how it ended up working for you?
Yeah, I thought that the timing on the controls would be really, really rough, especially, it's a rhythm game, so you got to be able to hit things in the right time. And I thought QTEs are scary, especially if you can't click things at the right times. But it turns out that with the accessibility options built in, the camera controls are pretty forgiving. The combat itself is pretty narratively forgiving, where you don't have to be perfect. You just have to sort of have fun with it. It's more of like a bashing good time rather than oh, you missed the QTE, start over.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. All right, let's move on to story number 2, keeping in the Xbox side of things here. Xbox is working on a mystery sequel that it says could take 10 years to make. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Xbox currently has a mystery sequel in development that could take as long as a decade to make, it's been revealed. As spotted by Axios' Stephen Totillo, the game was mentioned in court documents relating to an ongoing legal challenge in which a group of self-identified gamers, that's such a scary way to put it, self-identified gamers, are trying to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. At one point, the document explains that AAA games can take a long time to make, using Halo Infinite as an example, though the length and cost of development is redacted. It then says, quote, for instance, according to one Microsoft executive, redacted, a forthcoming title from the redacted franchise may take a decade to develop. It's not clear if this is a completely new game that hasn't yet been announced or something players already know about, such as Elder Scrolls 6, which was announced at E3 2018 and is therefore seemingly at least 5 years into development. Bethesda's Todd Howard said in 2021 that it was good to think of the Elder Scrolls 6 as being in a design phase, suggesting the Xbox exclusive is still some years away. What do you think, Steve?
I think this is just going to be Skyrim Year 35 edition. They're going to put out another Skyrim. It's just going to be the remaster, but they're going to add one new quest, and we're going to all pay $90 for it. At this point, can you imagine having a 10-year window that you have to wait to see your product? Like, my gosh, those developers, like the fortitude you have to make something that the world won't even see for a decade. Can you imagine?
A decade, man. It really is a long time, and we always talk about game development and how different it is from movies or TV, even though there are similarities in the workflow pipeline of it all. But 10 years to work on a project that, you know, we may or may not have even heard about publicly yet. You can assume they are talking about Elder Scrolls 6 here, or, you know, to your point, maybe this is the oft-requested Skyrim remake that is inevitable at some point. But yeah, I think that it is unfortunate that things can get this unruly because there's so much pressure that what if after 10 years, it's not Skyrim? You know, what if it doesn't do what it needs to do? And we've seen that on the Xbox side with Halo, right? Where a game that like needed to accomplish something and it just simply didn't, despite having the many years long production cycle.
It has to be something that they would at least feel confident in investing that much time into, right? Because, I mean, okay, so think about it. You're known as one of the best producers and comedians that our industry has, right? Would you work on a set for 10 years and not show it to anybody? Wouldn't that be just maddening?
That is a very nice thing to say and very inaccurate, but I appreciate you. But yeah, no, I totally, I can't imagine it. One of the greatest rewards we have at Kind of Funny is being able to have direct interaction and feedback and like live in it and just kind of go. And when something goes wrong, guess what? We'll do it right again tomorrow. Maybe we'll try. Like that's part of the fun and part of the whole experience. And to imagine these game devs that are like just head down grinding for a decade and then, you know, simultaneously dealing with people like us talking about leaks and talking about like how dumb this is and bad that is. And I hope this doesn't happen. And then the game comes out and if it's not the masterpiece we all have built in our minds, we're tearing them down. And like that gets so difficult to kind of wrap your head around. So I could never do that. I'm not built that way.
No, I don't think many of us could work on a project in the silo and silence for that long. It would be absolutely mind-boggling to even tackle such a thing. I mean, I'm thinking about things like Starfield, where everybody is just chomping at the bit to get a hold of it. We all want to play Starfield, and we're all like, okay, but we all know what happens with every other game that we've been waiting for 3 years, where it doesn't come out to expectation. They talk like, you know, No Man's Sky, right? Where today, No Man's Sky is great, but when it launched, it wasn't. And because of that, has its reputation ever really recovered? It's arguable. It's great.
I mean, it has. You know, I think that the reputation of No Man's Sky definitely has recovered. And I think people nowadays will only speak positively about that game. But because of the blunders in the early days, it did not hit the meteoric heights that I do think it could have hit with the way that game was being positioned back then. I think that if No Man's Sky had worked the way that they said, I think we might see a pretty different PlayStation in certain ways nowadays, but that's not how things went. But on the other side of that conversation, I do think it's important to point out some of the success stories of just because a game has an extremely long development cycle doesn't mean that it's going to end up not meeting expectations. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think, is an excellent example of a game that I think the majority of us would have looked at and be like, for a long time, not believed it's actually ever going to come out, and then never believing it's actually going to be good when it does actually hit. And they did it. They pulled it off. So I'm hopeful that we see that with Starfield, and then I'm extra hopeful that we end up seeing that with Elder Scrolls 6, because I think that audience, that community out there is so massive. Xbox needs that type of win. And I just think that, we know that Bethesda's got the stuff. I just hope that they can show that they got the stuff in modern times.
Absolutely. I wish in a conversation like this that we had Gary here. Because I feel like Gary could really speak to this in that you don't know what's going to be a hit. If Hollywood knew the formula of what was going to be a great game, what was going to be a great movie, what would spawn sequels, and what would people latch onto, we'd have nothing but AAA 99 reviewed score every single time. We don't. You can't predict the public. So would you have thought when The Last of Us came out that it would spawn this mega hype where everybody loves it?
No. And it's a beautiful thing that can happen. Yeah. But that is a game that, I don't know the exact length of the production timeline on all this, but that game wasn't made in a year. That game was made in many, many, many years, and that work results in something that's special. So I do think that it's scary for games to balloon this big, but I do also appreciate that Xbox is, and for at least some projects, trying to make something bigger, trying to make something that hopefully does have that wow factor that could potentially turn into an HBO show. Or not. It's not that video games need a different media adaptation to be anything more than what they are as a video game, but it's undeniable that helps in terms of the mainstream viability of the product, and the likelihood that we'll get more budget and investment in those projects.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you bring the subject back up again when you have a developer on here who has more development chops than I do. I'm just a silly guy that runs around the internet making jokes. But, for everybody who watches daily. Yeah, it's like for everyone who watches daily, tune in when Tim asks an actual developer about a cycle like this, because you got to wonder, when they do that, do they plan that a new engine will be out in 5 years? Or do they just rock with the same engine for a decade? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really interesting side of it too, is just even the engines and how things have changed and what we're seeing now with Unreal Engine 4 going to 5, and with games like Fortnite that are evolving live before our eyes. And to see Fortnite, and I'm not even talking about it not being a battle royale then becoming a battle royale, just the battle royale side, graphically, the tech going into it all, that game has advanced and just been patched in a way where we've gotten Fortnite Remake in real time. Mm-hmm. And I just think that is such an impressive new way that things are going. And I wonder, are these games always going to be, if they have a 10-year development cycle, will they always be behind because they're being built on older tech? Or are they going to be built in ways that those updates can happen a little bit more real time?
Is it the live service game? Is it something that will need patched? If they do come out with Fortnite 2, would everybody jump on board? Of course they would.
Yeah, but I don't know that they ever need to, right? Because Fortnite can just live forever. Let's move on to story number 3. We got new Street Fighter 6 details. This comes from Adam Bankhurst at IGN via Lil Wayne, a.k.a. Toonchi. The Street Fighter 6 showcase has not only revealed that a demo for the latest entry in the legendary fighting franchise is available now on PlayStation 5 and 4 and soon on other platforms, but it also announced who the Year 1 DLC fighters will be, alongside new details for the single-player World Tour mode. Let's start with the demo, which will let players check out a bit of the World Tour mode and certain modes in Fighting Ground. Furthermore, players will be able to use the extensive avatar creator to build their very own fighter that can be imported into the full game when it's released on June 2nd, 2023. Progress in the World Tour mode, however, will not carry over. That's an important thing to note. The demo is available right now on Sony consoles and will arrive on Xbox and Steam on April 26th. So not 5 days from now. In the first year, Street Fighter V's Rashid will kick things off in summer 2023. Newcomer AKI will be the second fighter in autumn. Street Fighter 4 and 5's Ed will be third in winter. And Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo's Akuma will finish year 1 in spring 2024. While it's always exciting to have new fighters join a roster, these fighters will also be added to the World Tour mode so players can interact with them, learn more about their history, and incorporate their moves into their own avatar. Steve, are you a Street Fighter guy?
It's funny. I just answered this question on Twitter like a week ago, where I was saying I used to be big into Mortal Kombat, and I was like a Streets of Rage kind of guy, and I love those kind of games. And it's just not in my wheelhouse anymore. My arms just do not allow me to be a fighting game player anymore. So I watch them on Twitch, and I'm amazed by friends who are very good at it, whether they're disabled or not. Are you somebody who likes fighting games and mashing fighters?
Yes, I like fighting games. I am not good at fighting games, but I enjoy playing them. And out of all of them, I think Street Fighter, out of all like the core 2D fighting game, or not even 2D, just core fighting games, I would say Street Fighter is the one that I'm the most into, having put a fair amount of time into every entry so far. Chun-Li's my girl. Very excited for 6. Very excited for the commentary mode that they're adding, of having the like different like actual shoutcasters or a couple celebrities like be able to commentate the fight and it make it feel like it's real happening with you. That's hype. I think that's really cool and like makes it a lot of fun. There's the I forget what they call it, but the simple mode where the game starts to play a little bit more like Smash Brothers with less combos and more just kind of button inputs. I think that's going to really open Street Fighter 6 up to modern controls, is what Pixelated Soul is saying. I think that's going to open it up to a lot of people, and I'm really hopeful. We're having this fighting game renaissance right now between Mortal Kombat 12 coming out, Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6. We have Project L on the horizon. A lot of really great stuff, and I think that it's going to be an amazing time for fighting game fans, whether that's fans of playing, like I know Blessing is, or like you're saying, fans like you that are able to watch the tournaments and have so much fun. Like I feel like fighting games are better positioned than ever to be more than just a video game that you play. They're also the esports side of it is easy to understand. Sometimes with MOBAs or with Overwatch or things like that, it can be really hard to watch competitively if you don't know exactly what's going on. But there's something inherently simple about two people on a screen hitting each other and the health bars at the top going down that even non-gamers can watch and be like, I understand what I'm looking at.
I totally agree. I will say, as a fighting game fan, I'm curious on your opinion here, Tim. So we all know that things are advancing in customization, and we just read that this is going to have the ability to bring in sort of your own characters, your own makes, your own models, right? A good friend of mine, the Real Guy Judge on Twitch, does a fighting, much like Kind of Funny Wrestling, where he lets his community come in and make their wrestlers, and then he doesn't play the game, he just watches the game, and he does the commentator role and lets the game play itself, but lets his community members be a part of that. And I think for a group like Kind of Funny and the Best Friends, I think it's interesting. Would you imagine, Tim, as a fighting fan, would you enjoy a world where the game helps walk you through making your own character, and they somehow integrate, Chat GPT style, where the computer goes, okay, what kind of move would you like your fighter to make, and what do you want its weakness to be? Like, would that be interesting to you, not to play, but sort of to design your own virtual Street Fighter self?
Honestly, I'm not really into the whole custom stuff in fighting games. Like I really care about the balance of it all, and I get really stressed out making decisions when I have to like choose strengths and weaknesses and different moves and all of that. That's why even with the WWE games, like I need other people to just do it for me, because like I just get decision paralysis with it all, and I just can't kind of define what I want my character to be. So that's why I like them kind of making the characters, and like I like the customization of outfits. That's kind of where it ends for me. But yeah, all of the real gameplay stuff, it's never really been my bag when it comes to that. So that's why I'm a little concerned about the Street Fighter single player. I think it's going to be okay. I just don't. I hope that it's great. I just don't really get the vibe, especially after seeing yesterday's showcase, that it's going to be anything really special.
I would love to hear more from people who have that point of view of being overwhelmed like yourself. Like, we don't talk about that a lot, but there are a lot of people out there who get very overwhelmed by a lot of decisions, and more video games are kind of saying like, okay, here's a palette of tools, a dozen of them. Go ahead, make yourself your game however you want. And there's some people who are like, I just wanted to push some buttons. I don't
Straight
know
up,
this.
man. Straight up. You know, we have so many more news stories to talk about, but real quick, I want to let you know that we only get to do this because of your support over on patreon.com/kindafunny and the support of our sponsors. You won't need to hear the support of our sponsors if you support us on Patreon, but for everyone else, here it is. Shout out to Rocket Money for sponsoring this episode. We all love gobbling up content, and we have an understanding of what subscriptions we use. Or do we? Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions when the actual total is closer to $200. That's right. You out there. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you don't even know about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Rocket Money has saved some of us here at Kinda Funny a ton of money, and it can help you too. Stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. Steve, I got a good question from the chat here. Jesus says, how much time do you spend in a character creator? What's your method? Or do you just select a preset and get into the game?
I have had a lot of fun in something like The Sims or even like a Fallout, where I just like clicking the random generator. I just did this with Diablo 4. You just click the random until it's something that's kind of close to what you like, and then just kind of like tailor it from there. I do feel Tim's point about like it is becoming a bit overwhelming with all the options that they give you, and sometimes having that random generation can spark that little bit of like, you know what, I kind of like that, and then you just kind of go that way.
Yeah. What type of character do you tend to create?
You know what? I am somebody who very much likes to go more of the Matrix, the digital version of yourself kind of person. I'm much more of the into the what would I look like in this world, or what would my character that I want to play be like in this world. I envy my friends who are like, all right, what's the silliest options I can possibly pick for this? Because that's just not me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I've thought about this a lot recently because we were talking about just different character creators in games, and like, do we have consistency between games? Like, are we always making ourselves? Or are we always making someone else? Is it the same character we're trying to make in all the different games? And I was thinking back, and like, there was something about Super Mario Brothers 2 that I always really, it's not character creator, but I always chose Princess Peach, and like, she was my girl. I kind of loved playing as her. And from then on, I always leaned towards choosing a female character if I could. And that's always my starting point with character creators. And it's just weird. I don't know why that's why I always default to it, but I've always been that way since day one. And I feel like there's been a consistent character that subconsciously I've been building in each game. And it's went from like pixels in the SNES days to like beautifully rendered 4K now, but it's cool.
I don't think that's weird at all. I think that is you literally project your hero, and for you tend to like the strong feminine character. That's who you feel an affinity towards. Like, this is a badass person, and I wish they were fighting on my team. That's how I think we do character creation. Is we create the characters that we would like to have a good time with.
Yeah. Super cool, man. Video games are cool, everybody. Story number 4, Ubisoft shows off the Division Heartland and reveals Division 2's Year 5 roadmap. Wow. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Ubisoft revealed what's in store for The Division series during a franchise showcase on Thursday. The presentation featured updates on the Division Heartland, I don't know, the Division 2 and the Division Resurgence. Ubisoft provided an in-depth look at the Division Heartland, a free-to-play game for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox consoles, which is in development at Red Storm Entertainment. The PvEVP-focused survival action shooter is set in the rural American Midwest town of Silver Creek, which has been left in ruins following the spread of dollar flu. Heartland will enter closed beta later this year, and players can sign up for the chance to participate. Ubisoft also revealed the roadmap for Division 2's 5th year of content, which really surprises me. Season 1, Broken Wings, will launch in June and feature a new roguelite game mode called Descent. Players can sample the mode early by participating in a public PC test server beginning today. Season 2, Puppeteers, will feature a new incursion that takes players to the Barrett estate for a confrontation with the cleaners. Season 3, Vanguard, will see players return to New York City to discover new revelations about Aaron Keener and his rogues. And Season 4, Black Diamond, will include new story DLC, adding fresh zones, main missions, and a whole new endgame structure. Ubisoft also said the next phase of testing for mobile looter shooter, The Division Resurgence, will launch this summer in select territories. Steve, are you into the Division at all?
I love the original Division, and I kind of fell off on the latest version. I like the zones that are kind of like more like Tarkov, where you go in, you have your gear, you need to get it out. That kind of thing is kind of fun to me. I like that PvP aspect. I have been so hankering for a good PvE solid co-op game of this style. I don't love that we're trying to put PvP into every single game like this. I kind of do. I don't know about you, but I really, really love going in with my group of buddies and just decimating some computer characters. Like, I just like that camaraderie, that good time of co-oping. You know, PvP is great and all, but at the same time, sometimes you just want to mash some monsters, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I totally get that. I'm with you. I'm not a PvP guy at all, but PvE, so much fun to be had. I gotta say, I'm surprised that Division 2 is getting this much support 5 years in. I didn't realize it was getting what sounds like a lot of the content that the user base would actually be asking for. Still getting story content 5 years later. Does that surprise you?
What is with today's run of stories? The Blessing picked every single story that talks about the next decade and a half of content. This is just where video games are going now, where we're plotting out our years in front of us in these virtual worlds, right? It's kind of awesome, because then if you know that you like a game, like, you have something to look forward to for years to come, and you're not like, well, it's been out for 6 months, so I guess they're already working on the sequel, and then this, won't matter that I spent all this time here. So I like those kind of roadmap things. I don't know. Are you a fan of knowing where a game is going to go, or do you like to be surprised?
I mean, definitely. I just feel like we haven't cracked the code on like the right amount of support before moving on to a sequel and all of that. And because there's no consistency, and I don't know that there necessarily needs to be perfect consistency, but the Street Fighter story we just read, them laying out, hey, here's the year 1 of DLC. I like that. It's clear, it's concise, it's letting you know these characters are coming. We're telling you right now. We're not trying to build this as what it's not. Like, we're not trying to trick anybody. We're just trying to enjoy, make sure everything's balanced, and we're going to continue to grow from there. But you look at the Ubisoft side of things, and we've been talking a lot recently about just the amount of IP they have, the amount of games, the amount of annualized games, franchised games, the amount of similar games they have. There's just a lot going on. And to, on top of that, have to have these games, whether they're games as a service or just multiplayer in general, have to have content and updates. We're just at this point of there's just a lot out there and a lot of expectations and a lot of opportunities for gamers to be let down. So that surprises me that Division 2 is still getting this much support, and they're also talking about these spin-off titles of Resurgence and Heartland, and we're not hearing yet right now about Division 3. But you got to imagine after year 5, this is probably the end of Division 2.
You would think so, and like you just talked about being overwhelmed with information, and I think this probably falls in that same category, right? Where you're getting a lot of information and a lot of roadmap, but also that's a lot. That's 2 games and multiple DLCs, and it gives you something to look forward to, but also things that you have to take into account. So do you continue to play and enjoy the same world knowing that there's a DLC that's just going to be out 4 months? So why do you bother getting all the gear and working your butt off to be the best your character can be, only to have it washed away when the next grade of gear comes in? I don't know. I think that was what was kind of cool back in, like, Diablo days and whatnot, where it was like all of a sudden Blizzard would be like, hey, we're putting out Hellfire. It's going to be a new cool thing. You're going to love it. And we'd be like, oh, that's amazing. It's so cool. Now you can plot it out in your gaming experience. I don't know. I could see both sides of it, not to play the middle fence here, but I could see where some people really be happy with the game going on for this long because they love it. And other people will be like, wow, could you just move on, please?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Barrett, is there any way we can get Mike's Mike on real quick? I want to get his thoughts on this because, if I remember correctly, Mike's a Division 2 guy, right?
That is correct, Tim. And what up, Steven Spohn? Good to see you, homie.
Hello, buddy. I love you. Thank you for coming on. Say hello.
Hey, man, right back at you. And yeah, I am a Division 2 guy. And it's interesting, Tim. I am someone who loves to get a ton of content and a lot of mileage out of my gameplay. But for me, of course, I am looking for the big old 3 on the box art. I'm ready for something new. It's almost like the Destiny problem that I have, right? Of like a lapsed player or someone who likes to play it right when it comes out. I play a bunch of content and then it's harder for me to come back. When we get into year 5 of situations like this, I am looking more towards, hey, put the 3 on the box and you might bring me back. It's a little bit easier than saying, hey, this is the 5th year content. We're going to do this and that. And if you're like me, you're like, I don't know if that vibes with me right now. So for the Division side of things, I'm looking for the 3. Will I check it out? Yeah, with Greg Miller, we'll probably turn it on and take a look, but it probably won't hold me for a long time.
All right, well, there you go. Mike's going to be joining us for a little post show after this, so thank you for making a little surprise pre-appearance.
Thanks for having me, you two.
Let's move on to story number 5, Steve. A Fortnite movie is not actively being worked on. This comes from Rebecca Valentine at IGN. It seems like every video game franchise is getting a film adaptation these days, but one popular game you probably won't see on the big screen anytime soon is Fortnite, according to Epic Games' Chief Creative Officer Donald Mustard. In an interview with Collider, Mustard said the company was not actively working on a Fortnite movie at this moment, but then explained that a future adaptation is still a possibility. To me, I want to do stuff that always just feels authentic and is a great story. And so it's not something we're actively working on right now. I'm not going to say it won't ever happen. In fact, I know exactly how I would do the Fortnite whatever. Exactly. I know exactly the story I'd want to, but it's not the focus right now. I don't have time. Mustard then added that Epic Games has a relationship with production company AGBO via investment, suggesting an adaptation might happen via that connection one day. But he also noted that given Fortnite's success, he wouldn't exactly have to work hard to get one greenlit. Oh yeah, a Fortnite movie gets greenlit by any studio in a second. It's just there's other stuff we're working on right now. Not too much of a surprise here, but do you have any takeaways?
So number 1, I have to say right off the bat, Rebecca Valentine, the best in the business. She's amazing. So thumbs up to Rebecca. But also, the Fortnite getting a movie at this point, I can't imagine a world that doesn't. It's definitely going to have The Rock for some reason. I don't see a world where we don't get that. I'm surprised a little bit that they haven't figured out some way, kind of League of Legends, monetization of it. Whether, Arcane was pretty good. Did you see Arcane?
Oh, yeah.
Tim?
Arcane was incredible.
It's really good, right? Like, even if you're not a League fan, it's good. It's real good. The characters are well. You love Jinx. You love Vi. Personally, my girlfriend and I back in the 20-teens used to play those 2 characters. So immediately I was like, I love these characters, and I haven't even seen the show yet. And then you watch it, and you're proud of it. And I think that they'll do something like that in Fortnite. I think the one interesting challenge, and I know you mentioned Fortnite earlier, you're not a huge PvE guy, neither am I, but, dabble into Fortnite from time to time, right? Do you think it's important that we know the lore of Fortnite in order for there to be a movie when it is a game where you jump in, you shoot some people, you die, you do it again?
Steve, I have the perfect response to you, and that is Super Mario Brothers, the movie, which was utterly fantastic, and there was no lore for them to build off, and they didn't care, and it didn't matter at all. That's what I think the magic of Fortnite is here. That when they have a movie, I think everything Donald's saying here is exactly what I would want to hear. It's like they don't have time to focus on this right now. He knows how they would need to get it done, and it is that vision to get it right. We don't just need a Fortnite movie coming out, because then we'll get things like the Angry Birds movie that just kind of feel like pure cash-ins, no soul, no heart put into the property and why people actually like the thing to begin with. Whereas you look at the Mario movie, you look at Last of Us, nobody, you can not like it or whatever, but nobody can look at that and say, people didn't care making this. They cared a lot. And I feel like Fortnite more than deserves that, especially at this point with how dominant it's been in the industry for as long as it has, how much it's adapted and changed, how much it's affected the youth. Like Fortnite means what Mario meant to me to millions of kids out there. And it's those little things. It's the way the characters move. It's the sound effects. It's the memes and the TikTok sounds and all of that. Like, in the same way, I just watched the Mario movie for the 5th time a couple days ago and still well up and still get excited for just these little moments and like things that I love so much and have for so long. I want more people to be able to experience that. And I think that a Fortnite movie can easily accomplish that.
To be fair, Jack Black does carry any movie he's ever in ever, so
Get him in Fortnite.
I would love that. Please bring Bowser into Fortnite. No, you know, I think all of your points are completely 100% on target. I love the fact that you can enjoy Fortnite from a lore perspective or from just a fan perspective. I have a good friend named Mouse in game who knows every single intricate character and what they do and where they do and why they do it and background stuff that I would have no idea. Oh, that's why this gun is in the game because this faction needed to bring it in to fight these people, and I'm like, I just like making it go bang bang. So
Yeah.
I like that we both can be in the same world and enjoy it at the same time, but for completely different reasons, and we both have the same great experience.
Yeah. Fortnite's special, man. It definitely is. And video games in general are so cool. Fortnite too, though. I don't know if we'll ever get it. It seems
I don't
so
know.
far away, Steve. But if I
you
wanted to
know,
know what was coming
now
to
that-
mom and grop shops today, where would I look?
I'm so glad that you asked that because the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kind of Funny Games daily show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah.
Nailed it, Steve. Out today, we have Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp on Switch. Can't wait for that. What an amazing video game Advance Wars is, and I'm so happy people are finally going to be able to play it either again or more likely for the very first time. If you missed out on this game before, definitely give this one a shot. Dead Island 2 is out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Like I was saying, Greg and some of the homies will be playing it right after Games Daily, so go check that out. Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Volcano Princess is on PC. Mia and the Dragon Princess is on everything. Lots of princesses today. Nacho Cado is on Switch, and Summon Quest on mobile. Deal of the day for you. This one is extremely important. Wario64 points out that the Sonic with Ring Funko Pop is available on Amazon for $12.99. So if you want that, you can get that.
Do you still love Funko Pops, Tim?
You know, I have never for a single moment thought about purchasing a Funko Pop. These are one of those things for me. I don't like the look of them. I don't like the vibe of them. And I also know that if I start, I can't stop myself. Same reason I didn't start getting Amiibos. And Amiibos are right up my alley. I'm a Nintendo boy through and through. And if I started with one, I'd have to get them all. Pokemon taught me early. Got to catch them all. It messed me up in the 90s, Steve.
Man, the Pokemon just getting you early. Once you get one, you get them all.
That's it. Here I am. 30 years later, still doing it in every way possible, wasting every penny that I have on these damn little creatures. So yeah, Funko's not for me. What about you?
I get so many of them through streaming. Like, there are so many times, and this is the one thing I think is sweet, and this is just me being a little mushy guy for a minute here. I think it's really sweet when a fan will send you to your P.O. box, hey, this character reminded me of you, of something you said one time, and it made me smile, so I spent $12 on you, and here, enjoy. And it's like, aw, like, even if I don't like the character, or even if I don't like Funko Pops, I'm just like, wow, that person spent 12 of their hard-earned dollars for something that they thought of me when they looked at it. Like, it's kind of cool.
I love that. I hope that you out there see this Sonic with Ring and it inspires you to buy it for someone else. You know, make them happy,
Like
whoever
Tim.
they are.
Or Blessing.
Yeah.
Maybe Blessing. Blessing sounds good.
Or Tim. Just send a bunch of
Or
Tim.
just can you imagine if I just had like 100 Sonic with Ring Funko Pops?
That'd be
Heaven,
I can't wait.
heaven or
I
hell.
can't wait to get that angry message from Tim. He's like, you set this up. Now I got 600 of these Funko Pops delivered to the studio. What the heck, Steve? Sorry.
Wouldn't be the worst thing that we've ever gotten here. Steve, we have a couple minutes left to hang out. I kind of want to talk to you about your year in gaming so far. What have been some of your the things you've loved the most? What are some of your disappointments?
Of course, I'm waiting for Starfield like the rest of us, as we talked about earlier. I can't wait for that to come out, I have been absolutely enthralled with Marvel Snap.
Hell
It is
yes.
it's my new addiction. I was convinced I would get the Galactus set to go through, and I did. Finally got Infinite. So happy,
You got
happy
Infinite?
with myself. I did. I got Infinite with it. Yeah.
Oh my God! Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
incredible.
Oh, so much grinding. I was so happy though, man. What's the highest you've gotten so far?
I mean, I was just saying yesterday, like I don't really play the ranking game that much. Like I'm more on the collecting side, so I'm more focused on doing the daily challenges that
Okay.
sometimes those
Yeah.
get in the way of me like actually performing well. So I feel like the highest I've ever gotten was like 78 or something like that.
That's still pretty good.
It's pretty good, but it's not 100, man. Infinite is nothing to shake a stick at, man. You're doing the damn thing.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. No, there's been some cool things like that that I've enjoyed. I've been having some good times playing American Truck Simulator with Lil Simsy. We've been having fun goofing around in that. It's such a silly game to just run around and just deliver packages and run each other off the road. That's always fun. But I think my weirdly excited one for the year was I got into Company of Heroes 3. I wasn't expecting to like that, but I played the whole damn campaign. I don't know. There's something about it. It was just fun.
That's awesome, man. Has there
Yeah.
been anything so far that you were excited for that let you down?
It's always accessibility that lets me down. I was one of the people on Twitter. I'm sure you saw me being like, "Oh, I can't wait for Marvel Suns. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait for it." And like, just like I said earlier, I opened it up within 6 minutes. I realized I'm not gonna be able to play this, and there's nothing I can do about it. And you know, you send off your messages. Even someone like me that can talk in the back channels and be like, "Hey, you guys didn't add this thing. Why didn't you?" It doesn't always mean it's gonna get added. So. Unfortunately, I was not able to play Marvel Suns, and I won't be able to play it in the foreseeable future. So I was sad about that, and I hope eventually they make it a little more accessible.
Yeah, definitely. Well, staying in line with that a little bit, let's keep talking about the Able Gamers Gala that's going down. Like, what are some of the things you're most excited about happening tomorrow?
So, I really think the cool part of it is the fact that it's Stardew Valley meets Zoom. So if you have a camera, if you want to get on there and look all pretty like Tim, you could do that. If you don't want to turn on your camera, you can talk in text. Like there's all kinds of different modalities for anybody to meet their favorite creators, and you just don't know who's going to show up and who's going to be there. If they're not listed there, they could be anybody. And that's the kind of cool experience, right? That I think all of us are craving in this world, right? It was access versus accessibility. Not everybody has thousands of dollars to go to PAX, or they live out where you guys do, where you can go to GDC and the other cool conventions because they're in your backyard. Some of us are across the world. So this allows people who may have never been outside of their own four walls, if you're disabled, to go and meet these cool people, have a good time, and listen to music. We have a live DJ. If y'all saw the lobster DJ with her lobster sandals going around the internet a couple months ago, we got her for the event. We got Ninja Brian from Ninja Sex Party to come and be the headliner.
Awesome.
Yep. I don't know. Have you gotten to hang out with Brian yet? He's such a cool dude.
I met Brian at RTX in 2017, and yeah, he is one of the funniest people out there. The whole Game Grumps crew, all of them are just such great people.
So great. They're so freaking great. He literally he wanted to bring on a special guest, and he's like, "Steve, I have a big ask for you." I'm like, "Okay, what's that?" He's like, "I want to bring on a special guest. His name is Funky Wizard." I'm like, "Funk Wizard? Yes. I don't even need to know anymore. Don't say anymore. Say less. Bring on the Funk Wizard. Let's go." So there's Funk Wizards, and it's gonna be fantastic. I'm just excited. There's cool things like video games you can play with your friends, with creators, and it all goes to charity. We're all gonna get on stage and talk about the cool things we do and make people proud. And honestly, like I said, Tim, this is not a stream bit. This is not just a best friends bit. I really hope that everyone from you to Greg to all the best friends who have donated even $5 over the years, I hope that this kind of stuff makes you all proud when you get to see what Able Gamers has done with your support, and why we hope you'll keep supporting.
Yeah, I mean, best community in the world because they have amazing things to support, like what you guys have done over there. Mashreek in the chat is saying, "What is Steven's name and channel? I'm fairly new to Kind of Funny Games, and it's my first time seeing them. You want to help him out there?"
Absolutely. So during the daytime, you can find me on any social media. Steven Spohn, Spohn. I am on Twitter way too much. I apologize to anybody following me. And if you want to find me streaming, it's the phonetic spelling of Steve, Inspawn. My channel is kind of best friend-ish. No, I don't play with Mike very much because he's all PvP and I'm very bad at it. But we have that same kind of flavor of just community atmosphere. So we're always trying to do things together and have fun.
Yeah. And then do you want to talk a little bit more just about Able Gamers in general? Like, what is that for
Absolutely.
people that don't know?
So Able Gamers is a video game charity that helps people with disabilities be able to enjoy the same video games as everyone else. So we essentially, as a charity, enable players with disabilities so that they can have the experiences they want in video games. Imagine if you were wanting to play Fortnite or Metal Gear Solid or any of the games we talked about today, but you weren't able to because you have a physical disability, if you are deaf, if you are blind. Able Gamers has ways to help you be able to match the technology that exists with your challenges to help you overcome them. You can see on the screen there we have testimonials. Each and every one of those is a real person. So if you scroll back up, those are all people. Those are all just individual people that help. Now, we like to talk about the millions of gamers out there that need help. We like to talk about the numbers, make things sound big and spectacular. But honestly, Tim, it's just about changing lives one at a time. It's just reaching out to people like you. Imagine if you weren't able to play video games. Now, you and I have had this conversation off air, but what would it be like for you if you couldn't play video games?
I mean, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. The work that y'all are doing is so important and so inspiring, and I think that it again shows the importance of video games and what they can mean. And we were talking about Street Fighter earlier. Of you don't even need to necessarily be playing video games for video games to be able to affect you and make you feel like you're part of a community and to allow you to kind of find who you are and find what you love about yourself and all of that. So I really think that the Able Gamers cause has been amazing for all the years that we have been able to kind of help you guys, because you guys are doing such great stuff. And I'm just happy that we're able to do anything because we're out here just like talking about video games. You guys are out there like doing some real work to be able to make sure that everybody that wants to play a game can to the best of their abilities. So I think it's really incredible stuff. And thank you so much, Stephen, for being such a positive force in the industry. I've never heard a single bad thing about you. Every single one of the people that I love most in the industry absolutely loves you. To see Bruce Green and Alana, like the amount of, and SnowBikeMike, like everyone loves you, man. So thank you for being a good dude.
Now you're making me blush. Come on, dude. Well, I have a great team with me. People like Maggie Judge and Dr. Andy Wu, their founder, Mark Bolle, and the list goes on, and all these great teams. It's not just me. I'm just the pretty face. I'm just the one that has the riz to be up here and get to hang out with Tim. I'm just blessed in that way. But there's a whole team of people who are just doing it to help individuals. So my point of the whole ramble there about Tim and his view on video gaming is just each and every one of you out there listening. I know video games are important to you, and our only goal at Able Gamers is to make sure that we help as many people have that same experience as you have every day.
Absolutely love that. And a great way to help support that, if you are at home right now listening, is to go to ablegamers.org/gala. That's GALA. Tomorrow, they're doing the big thing. It's going to be so much fun. You could be part of it, 4 p.m. Eastern time, April 22nd. Definitely go hang out with everybody, meet some of your favorite creators, and just have a good time supporting an absolutely amazing cause. Steve, do you have any final words before we let you go here?
Pizza's amazing. Don't wear pants if you don't have to. And I'd always tune into Kind of Funny Games Daily to get all the greatest news from around the internet all in one place.
I love that. Thank you so much for all of your support. Let me tell you something, all right? You're wrong. Flawless. Didn't get a single you're wrong today. We did great, Steve.
Oh my gosh. High five. Let's go.
Yep, that is awesome. Next week's hosts, we got some fun stuff going on, everybody. Monday, it is me and SnowBikeMike. Tuesday, it is me and hopefully Fran Mirabella. That's on the docket. Wednesday, Blessing me. Thursday, Blessing and Austin Creed, WWE superstar, makes his first appearance in the spare bedroom. It is going to be an absolute blast. And then Friday is me and Bless. And the reason Austin Creed is here is because next Thursday is Greg Miller's 40th birthday. And we're going all out with the Greg Miller stream birthday bash. You're definitely going to want to hang out all day with us. Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Going to be a great time next Thursday. Greg's turning 40, everybody. Steve,
yeah.
thank you so much for hanging out with us. For everyone else, remember, now that we're done with Games Daily, me and Mike are going to hang out for the post show for a little bit before we get to the stream. You can write in your super chats. You can subscribe, resubscribe on Twitch, leave it a message. We'll answer your questions about the stories from the day and whatever you want to talk about in the video game world. Steve, appreciate you. Can't wait for tomorrow. Hope everything goes great. Until next time,
Thank you.
love you all. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hell yeah, Steve. Thank you so much for that. We are still live, but just want to say bye now.
All right. Take care, Tim. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
What a dude. What an amazing dude, Mike. I'm excited to be here with you, Mike, on this Friday.
What an
beautiful
awesome
Friday.
dude. Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment. Inspiring, motivational, really great, positive guy. What a great influence to have not only on my life, but on so many others. Like, that's one rad guy.
One
and that
rad
is
guy.
really cool to be able to share a part of his life, and what he's doing with his team, right, is so special. And so thanks, Tim, for having him on. And thanks for the Kind of Funny Best Friends for getting excited and hanging out with him, because I think that's pretty freaking rad. You know that.
I'm excited. I mean, this is my first time being able to do a show with him, which is
no way.
Yeah, first time.
Really?
Like, I've known him for forever now, but yeah, it was like, it's cool. Greg just told me last week, he's like, oh, Steve's doing it. And like, I was like, yes, I can't wait for this. There's a couple people I have on my, I don't want to say, it's not bucket list, but yeah, on my big board. The big board. I've never done
big board.
Can you believe I've never done Games Daily with Lucy James?
Okay.
I don't think I've made content with her, not one-on-one at least. Like,
Yes.
she's made appearances on things, but I don't even think I've been on a full podcast with her. Like, she's come on to KF podcast, but like, I think just for like a weird bit where she talked about Tintin, because she really likes Tintin. I think I'm getting that right. What are your thoughts on Tintin, Mike?
Tintin. What the hell is Tintin? I don't know what Tintin is. Is that some sort of game?
The Adventures of Tintin.
Oh, Adventures of Tintin, a cute little redheaded child. Look at that, bro.
Yeah.
I've never seen that guy.
Tang.
He's got
That's what I imagine you looked like as a child, Mike, and then you grew up to be.
That's me. It's right. There's Greg Miller joining us here for our fun post show. Of course, it is Kind of Funny Games Daily. We're wrapping up the week with one more final KFGD post show where I join today's host to go a little bit deeper into, of course, the news topics, or ask any question under the gaming sun. Of course, this is where we want you, the Kind of Funny Best Friends, to come get involved. Normally, it's a whole lot of talk and it's a whole lot of news stories, and it's not enough about you. And so this week, we've asked all of you to come join us. Whether you're watching live over on Twitch, you can resubscribe. You can subscribe with Prime Gaming and leave a comment, a question, a concern, anything under the video game sun. And of course, over on YouTube, you can even write in with a super chat where we'll ask that question to these two lovely show hosts today and have a good time. Greg, let's kick it off with you. 40th birthday right around the corner.
Less than a week now.
Pretty wild to think about. We're going to throw a big party. We're going to have a ton of fun. But let's talk
Do you want to
games.
confirm details about it?
I mean, can I?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
We got some special guests coming in.
We do.
One incredible dude.
It was my 40th birthday. I said, who do I want to celebrate this with?
Who-
Who should we
who's
fly
on
to
the
San
list?
Francisco? We
Yep.
picked two gentlemen.
Two dudes.
Number one, Mike, is who?
Poe, my
That's
guy.
right. Poe's coming in. Poe's coming back, everybody, for a quick trip to San Francisco to stream with us all day, Thursday, April 27th.
Yes.
Greg's best friend since when?
I mean, him and I have known each other since first grade. I would say, yeah, what, 5th, 6th, 7th, right around there, you really get going. We really got cooking with the video game football. That's when it is. Maybe I bring a PS3 since you couldn't do it. We play some NCAA football. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
As long as you got controllers, is right.
Exactly.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's what happened with mine, remember? We didn't have
you can
controllers.
use DualShock 4s on them. You can use DualShock 4s.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, Dr. Poe's coming through, so that's cool.
Love that.
And then the only other person who could match Poe's tenacity, his on-camera presence,
Yes.
and my love of somebody I wanted to celebrate my 40th
Gosh
birthday.
darn love.
It's WWE superstar Xavier Woods, a.k.a. host of the greatest YouTube channel, Up, Up, Down, Down, Austin Creed. That's right. Austin Creed will be joining us to hang out all day and horse around.
It's gonna be
play some
great.
games.
It's gonna
eat
be a
some
big
cake,
day.
Drink some stuff probably.
I'm gonna have him teach me how to roll his body like when he does it when he goes WWE. You know,
Sure.
I'm gonna learn that.
Okay.
But yeah, it should be a really good time. It's
be
gonna be a great time.
Yeah,
I think you need a lot of muscle control for that.
You
Mike.
think
got plenty
that?
of
I mean,
muscles.
we're
Look at
gonna
him.
learn. I got muscles. I've been
No
in the
control.
gym. I've been smacking
You
the
got leg
gym.
muscles. You walk up like 100 flights of stairs every day.
I love it. 220 every single day. That's
Damn.
the target goal. Greg, but I want to circle back to your 40th birthday as
Sure.
we let the super chats and the subs roll in to ask us questions. On your 40th birthday,
Yeah.
you look back on all the years that you've been gaming. What are some standout achievements that you've earned or you want to earn?
Well, I would never talk about achievements. I would talk about trophies.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my DC Universe Online Platinum. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You go to PSN profiles, it's there as one of the most rare trophies I have. Of course,
Wild.
the SingStar trophy is more rare because, of course, it was a big thing of trying to get people to like your videos. They set that way too high, but I got it because I was able to activate the podcast beyond audience to go
Love
do
that.
it.
Love that.
Beyond that, greatest achievements in gaming. What I mean, making this happen, right? You know, the fact of like, my mom's birthday was last month.
Okay.
The gift I got her was I found this. You know, when Ben came around, there was all these things I'd buy or you'd look for, and it's like letters to your baby. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Do this thing right there. I bought those books and haven't filled them out yet, but I saw ones for my mom and my dad months later, years later maybe. Bought that. And so I wrote my mom's, you know, for her birthday, for her 70th. I don't know if she likes me saying that on the air, but her 70th birthday. Wrote all of them, my memories in there, and little letters to her and stuff like that. And
like
one
that.
of the things I put in one of them was like, like now that I'm on the other side here with Ben, right? Like I'm getting to live what you did. You know, obviously, my goal is to keep him alive. You know what I mean?
Of course.
That's
goal.
the
Solid.
main objective,
Step
keep
one.
Ben alive. But,
Yes.
you know, your side objectives that you can achieve or can't achieve doesn't really matter. It's just how you want to play the game. Is, of course, make his dreams come true, you know, empower him to do whatever he wants to do. And it's that thing of I wrote my mom's letter, like, you did that. Like, I don't know if you think about it, mission accomplished, but you did that. I get to, you know, you saw me be a Superman fan and a video game fan, and you encouraged that and did all that.
Oh.
And here we are 40 years later, right? And, like, I made it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, talk about a successful mission. Like, you know, you crushed it, you did this. So the fact that, like, you know, I'm able to do this and talk about video games professionally is a pretty crazy concept. If you want to talk about the concept of, you know, what I've done in gaming achievements, that's definitely up there.
That's beautiful.
You know,
Greg.
right behind that, of course, platinuming the original Uncharted. All right,
Yeah,
there
number
were some
one.
really
That's
annoying
the
parts
tippy
in there.
top.
Hard,
Some really
yeah.
annoying parts in there. Same thing with Little Big Planet Platinum. A lot of annoying levels in there. We had to not die the whole time going through it, screaming into pillows at 3 a.m. You know what I mean? Trying not to wake people up. A lot of good stuff over there.
Well, Tim, I'm going to keep Greg talking because we have
Love
some
it.
super chats rolling in. Shinobi3005 has written in and said, "Hey, what's up, Greg?
So,
What are your thoughts on yesterday's Division showcase, and what is everyone more excited for?"
Baby, can you fucking believe
There you go.
it?
There you
You're
go.
fine.
Jared,
We
tell
talked
us.
about this in one of the shows yesterday. Oh, Remember Blank. We recorded Remember Blank.
Yes.
Are Remember Blank's live yet? Cool, Greg? You can go watch the Remember
Yo, they're
Blanks.
good. They're
They
good.
are really good. We've done
They're
a great
good.
job
They're
of,
good.
you know, tweaking and toning there. The Remember Blank. They, you know, we've been on a tear. They are actually really good. But one of the stories I told yesterday when the Division came up was Paris and me slacking back and forth. And Paris is going, these motherfuckers are about to get me to play Division again. And I'm like, me too. Yeah, year
Yes.
5, all the stuff they have planned for that and the multiple seasons, the new game mode. Hell yeah, I'm excited for that. You know, I'm still going to give Resurgence a shot on the phone. I'm not expecting to be sucked into this phone game of the Division
Okay.
beyond maybe a week or so
Yeah,
of playing
yeah,
it or
yeah.
whatever.
Beyond.
Not even because I'm not a mobile guy, just because, like, I don't know if it's got the juice and the meat to it.
You got the
But
juice.
then they showed they showed Heartland out at the
Yes.
very end there, right? And it still seems like we're a ways out from that, but it looked good. Like, I liked what I saw. I'm interested. The class-based stuff, we'll see. You know, I'm never a big put me in a box kind of guy.
Yeah, you
but
don't
I
like
guess
being put in
technically
a
I was
box.
the Division as Demolisher and all that stuff too. Division
Okay,
2.
okay.
But more than anything, I'm stoked that, like, hey, here's another reason to turn on the Division 2. Get back to that.
That's great, Greg. Yeah. I mean, me and Tim spoke just a moment about it, of course, on Kind of Funny Games Daily today. We talked about that showcase. Shout out being on 420. And little Tucci on 420 with Street
Tucci,
Fighter.
baby. Yeah.
Come on, man. What a great day for game showcases. Let's have some fun. Tim, this one's for you. Calvin P. writes in and says, what's the best meal you guys have had all month? Tim, when you look back on the month, we'll call it the month of April. There's 21 days in this so far.
Yeah.
What's the best meal you've had?
We found this new sushi spot that totally changed my life.
Oh,
I'm like, this is the
snap.
greatest sushi
Okay.
I've had in the
Safeway.
entire world.
Safeway sushi. Yeah, there you go.
It's called Nara.
Okay.
It's on Haight Street, and I would recommend anybody go.
Is that
there.
with a G?
Like gnarly? You know
No,
what I mean?
no, it's
Is that
N-A-R-A.
like
I do
gnarly?
like that.
Okay.
Harsh the gnar.
But the sushi, it's like nothing I've ever had. It's just like every single thing I tried there was incredible. And it's the type of place, go with the group so you could try a little bit of everything.
Yes.
But all of their rolls are like references to things, like they're named after stuff. And one of them is the Big Boss roll. So of course
Get out
I
of
had
town,
to get
for
that.
real?
I had to do it. Yeah.
I love that.
How was it?
Fucking fantastic. It's so good. I think that they had one. There was some reference to Spider-Man. I don't remember what it was, but that was my favorite one. But anyway,
that
shout out
sounds
to Nar,
good.
man. That place was
The web
rad.
roll.
Greg Miller, you are always eating big, living
eating
big.
big.
What great meal have you had this month?
You know, for Jen's birthday, we went out to a little jazz place we had missed.
Ooh.
It's been around forever, apparently, right? But
me playing the flute.
but it's a jazz cocktail restaurant kind of thing.
Okay.
Down one of those good little alleys over by the Trans-American Pyramid. If you want to put in Bix, B-I-X.
Okay.
We went there. It was a lovely meal and sat 3 tables away from Nev Campbell from the Scream movies.
Fun little surprise.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Give the wave?
Never had the opening.
Like, you remember when I saw Stephanie McMahon?
Yeah, of
Peace
course.
sign.
But
Wait,
that was
what
the
does that
thing is
mean?
the way we were seated, there was never like eye contact. 'Cause
Okay,
you know what I mean.
okay.
But if it wasn't like we were the table next to her or anything either. You know what I mean? There was enough distance there where I was like, "That's Nev Campbell from Scream." And
Yes.
Jen confirmed that was Nev Campbell from Scream. Then we got a little drunk on martinis, so I texted Jack Quaid. I'm like, "Yo, would Nev Campbell be in San Francisco?" And he's like, "I guess. I don't fucking know." Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know? But he was very nice to take the text and figure it all out. But yeah, that was a great meal.
This is a great looking spot, Greg.
And
This
it was
is
the
very
martinis
cool.
were popping. The service was excellent.
Okay.
It's like, Mike, next time you and I go to LA,
Okay.
we're going to Musso and Frank's, all right?
Okay.
Because that is a classic spot. It's in the Tarantino movie, the one, Once Upon a Time
Once
in
Upon a
Hollywood.
Time.
Same thing. Everybody who works there, dressed to the nine. It's a little step up. And I'm
Okay.
not insulting it, but it's a step up from House of Prime Rib.
Nice. Okay.
Same
Okay.
vibe,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not the, hey, we're walking around with a giant tin of meat thing. You know what I mean?
yes.
And so they take care of you. It's about hospitality there. It's an Eric
Show it to
Castro
me.
kind of place. And I'll tell you, I got a lot of that from Bix as well. I was happy to have that in San Francisco.
That's dope, Greg. Yeah, let's put down Bix on the list right
Sure.
here. That's cool to see.
In fact, I give it my highest rating, 3 AAA batteries.
Whoa!
Three AAA batteries.
He's feeling
ladies
charged,
and gentlemen.
baby.
He's
Ladies and
willing to
gentlemen.
go back.
Go to Bix and tell them Greg Miller and Nev Campbell. sent you.
Amazon Basics,
There you
Kev.
go. There you go. I'm happy to report my favorite meal of the month. Andy will know. Spices. As always,
Oh, yeah,
a
yeah.
delightful time to go to Spices. Very welcoming, very warming. Great Chinese food. Some of the best orange chicken and white rice I've ever had in my entire life.
God bless you,
This
Mike.
time we
They're
tried.
trash.
This time we tried pig ear, which was a very interesting combo. A little bit cold with a nice spice and flavor to it, but also kind of like weirdly crunchy, weird textures on that
Give me
one.
that crunch.
Still nothing beats the beef roll from Spices. You get a little beef roll as an app, me and Kevin, and then we go right into my normal meal.
Mike, I know you. You're a very picky eater. Some would say the pickiest. I would definitely say you are the pickiest eater I know. Who convinced you to get the pig ear?
The lovely lady behind the counter. Yeah, we have a great relationship, me and her. She's like 67, and
okay.
we have this relationship, me and her. She's really great to me.
Pig ear.
So I had pig ear. She said it was her favorite. Of course, what I like doing lately, Greg, I learned from you, and of course, what I do is anytime I go out on an adventure, Tim. I go off early in the morning. I arrive at my destination around brunch. You know what I mean?
Destination? I was going to let it go. It got me. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay,
It was good.
I arrive.
Start my day
and
early at my
it's-
destination.
It's breakfast brunch area.
Yeah.
Go to the local cafe.
Yeah.
I look at whoever the barista is, whoever the
Sure.
server is. Hey, what's your favorite thing to do?
Now, can I
And-
stop you real quick?
Tell me.
My question there is, do you read their vibe first? Because sometimes you come in and they're having a bad time, and that's not the time to be like, yo, what do
Well,
you get, dog?
Here's the deal. When you see me, I'm turning around the vibe. I've
great.
never had
Always.
anyone with a
Great
bad vibe because I usually hit them with some positive compliments. We
Sure.
get the morning going, and then it's like I order, I get everything, and it's usually the end, right? Of like, hey, I'm about to go on an adventure by myself. What do you recommend? What are your favorite spots to do, right? And so I'm always getting pointed in different directions.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to shout that out
Do
because
any of them
it's always fun.
assume that you're just like a dad who's a tourist in San Francisco? Because that's the vibe that you would definitely get.
Well, I don't do it in San Fran, you know what I mean? So that's the
okay,
catch. Because I'm
okay.
always like, it's Point Reyes, it's Santa Cruz, right? It was Big Sur a couple weekends ago. So we'll see what happens this week. My goal is to go to Yosemite tomorrow. So we'll see where I get lost in the woods there, you know? You never know.
Never know.
Let's keep it going with the fun super chats that we got going on right now. Of course.
Andy's here. And he's calling me off. What happened?
Oh. He needs
What
you.
happened? Nick hurt?
Somebody go help Nick. Help Nick right away. Cameron Kennedy writes in and says, "Hey, Tim, I like your fit today. A little Friday fit for
Thank
Tim."
you. I love this jacket, man. It can't look bad. My favorite part of this outfit is a little surprise Pikachu.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Tim, that's a nice little pop right
I
there.
like it.
Yeah.
You know, my little boy Pika.
Tim, can we be open and honest with
Yes,
each other
we can.
right now while we're having this fun post show?
Because does that honestly require me to let you know that you look fantastic?
Thanks,
I love
Tim.
this hoodie.
Thanks, Tim.
I mean, well, I don't know about the whole outfit, but I
like
love
this
the
hoodie a lot.
elements of the outfit. But this hoodie, I like this tie-dye look
Thanks.
on you. I think
I like
it really
the hoodie
fits
a lot.
your vibe.
I like the hoodie. The shorts, I got these avocado green shorts.
Yeah, you
and I
did.
just don't know what they go with. But they're like one of the few shorts when in my normal shorts that are like the looser kind, right? Like these shorts that I have, a couple of them, 3 out of the 5, they're a little bit tighter. They don't have much play, but 2 of them will just let me move and play, which I really like. Very odd because they're all the same shorts. I don't know what happened. Maybe I busted a seam and it freed me, but who knows? But Tim, I wanted to ask you, the white T-shirt. How did you get comfortable with the white T-shirt? Because you and I both have a very special complexity where if we stand out in the sun for more than 3 minutes, we get extremely pink and sunburned.
Special complexity.
Where we can't go outside. And so for me, I can never wear the white because I'm so blistering red. It never looks quite right. When did you overcome that and say, I'm going to rock this white T-shirt and make it look good?
You just commit, man. And that's the thing. When it comes to all fashion things, you just fucking do it.
Okay.
Make it a thing.
Here's the cycle, all right? You
Cycle
do
of
what you
violence.
want to do.
Yes.
People comment it on it.
Okay.
Right? Most people, if you're Nick, it's going to be an insult. If you're anyone else, and even with Nick's actually, I take that back. It's not an insult. Nick's probably the king of my actual point, which is you just observe it. You just make an observation about it of like, oh, new shirt.
Yeah.
No judgment of whether it's good or bad.
No
It's just
judgment.
pointing out the fact that I noticed, oh, haircut.
Hey, look,
You know
How
what
do
I
you
mean?
feel about going the mic route where you compliment it and then behind their back talk shit
Talk
about it?
shit. Well, I mean, there's also that, but there is just the thing of like, hey, something is different.
Yes.
I want to raise the fact that I noticed that there is a difference.
Yeah.
Then it turns into the
Don't
murmurs.
start it with a though, because the new shirt
There's a
implies
criticism
like,
there.
I
There's a
don't-
criticism.
Sure.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a criticism behind that. So you need to find the right tone to do that with for sure.
Exactly. But I do think then there comes the phase of like, they're the others. The people start giving thoughts and talking to each other about what they really think about the change that someone made behind their back.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
We all know it's happening.
Now I'm thinking.
But then the person just needs to push through and they need to decide, what are they made of? Do they got the stuff to just commit to the thing? Or are they beat down enough by it? They're like, this just simply isn't worth it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't judge either side of that. You know, sometimes you commit to things you shouldn't commit to. Sometimes you commit and you're like, you know what? I'm happy I pushed through.
Just tell me, Tim. Tell me I don't look good in this white shirt, okay?
You look great.
Today,
See,
Greg
that,
Miller.
my thing with the white shirt is just like my body.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
white shirt shaping your body. That's why, I'm Greg. I always took that advice from you of like wearing black shirts.
Hides the sweat marks, hides all the shadows I got going on here. You know what I mean?
Hey.
And then it's like that difficult thing. I love wearing white T-shirts, but I don't have the body I did back in high school. So it's like finding that difficult balance of.
I'll tell you what you know this is happening. You know that like you've been there as a kid, but now as an adult, like you know that kids have no limits and no boundaries and just are gonna Ben's gonna call me fat pretty quick and understand.
Oh,
it.
okay.
But it's like we're already there. Ben's now obsessed with belly buttons, and so like when he wants to go in my belly button, I'm like no,
Get out of there.
This is gonna get way worse when he's like my titties are out. You know what I mean? When are you gonna have the baby, daddy? I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Amazing. Let's bring it back to games right now because Colin Berry has wrote in and says, hey, Greg Miller, what do you expect out of Massive's Star Wars game, single player or multiplayer experience, smaller or bigger scale than the Division?
It's a great question because we don't know anything. We just know what they're working on over there. I think if you were in a vacuum to answer this question, I would say, it's going to be a multiplayer game. It's going to be a big game like the Division, somewhere like that. The problem with saying that is that we've seen so many developers get outside their comfort zone and do different things, right? The fact that we are all waiting with bated breath right now for Jedi Survivor from Respawn. You know what I mean? The Titanfall guys, you know what I mean? The Apex guys are making and like, again, this is a vacuum conversation.
Yep.
You could apply it to Fallen Order if you wanted to. That you sit there and you go, it's easy to pigeonhole people. Guerrilla.
Yep.
They're making an open world action RPG. The Killzone guys,
what?
the first person shooter guys. I would imagine it's going to be multiplayer in some respect. As you know, my Star Wars fandom, it mainly centers around the Star Wars Jedi games. Like that is what I think really made me, oh man, I really like this stuff. So I can't get into what a Bad Batch game would look like, what being a stormtrooper or whatever, would anything like that. I don't know what they'll put a spin on, but I do know that I love Massive's game, so I am pretty stoked to see what's up with it.
Yeah, I'm looking for a fun multiplayer game, honestly. Like, that's what I'd like to see, essentially The Division, just with a nice Star Wars skin over it. But
so
is that what people want?
Who are you playing as? Yeah, are you Rebels?
I want to be a stormtrooper.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But they don't really go off on their own, right? Like, it's not like...
Well, it's like me and my homies. We're a pack, right? We're just like,
sure, but then you're just going to say, guard this door and shoot badly when people come through. You're like, pew, pew.
And I'm going to role play it, so I purposely miss everything.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, they could do a lot of really cool shit with it. You know, a bounty hunting game could be really cool. You know, warring factions of bounty hunters. You're all, you're all solo, but then you come together in your guilds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The dice.
Like my boy
Big
Han.
deal.
Big dice, baby.
And not to get into like too much spoiler territory, but the way season 3 of Mando ends, like it feels like it could set up like a premise just like for a video game that doesn't intrude on the show with those adventures. So yeah, I would love to see that.
I didn't watch it, but I heard at the end he just goes, "You're all Mandalorians in my eyes," and then everybody turns and like starts making their own helmets, right? And that's where the game gets
Yeah.
We're all Mandos.
Let's continue on.
The
We
Mando's
have
inside you.
a double comment from one incredible Mike Minotti, who writes in
The
and says,
Virgin.
Tim, thank you for your sex advice last night. Of course, if you tuned in over on Twitch and or on YouTube, of course, youtube.com/kindafunny. We have a brand new Love, Sex, and Stuff After Dark live right now. We did it during happy hour, Greg. And nothing sexier than happy hour. I tell you what.
That was sexier than you and Blessing sprawled out on the couch over there, pitch black. And then you're like, all right, well, let's show sex positions.
Exactly.
You didn't even wait for Bless to tell you what to do.
No.
You just started presenting. And then Bless like, no.
You got to be willing to
half
be moved.
doggy or whatever. All right. Well, this is a show, all right.
But Mike also writes in and says, y'all see Jeff and Hi-Fi Rush are trending today? Tim, you talked about that. Why don't you fill me and Greg in and let's have a conversation?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much on the Game Mess podcast, they were talking about Hi-Fi Rush that Jeff had heard that the sales numbers weren't what they needed to be for Hi-Fi Rush to be seen as a success. And then Aaron Greenberg from the Xbox side was like, every metric we're looking at, Hi-Fi Rush is a success. Again,
fuck you, Jeff Grubb.
No, two statements that are
you,
both
Jeff
true
Grubb.
together. Wait, why'd you call him a virgin?
No, Mike.
Yeah.
That was what Jeff Grubb called in about Mike Minotti on the show.
Gotcha. Because there was the call.
To be clear, Jeff Grubb did a crossover where Game Mess called in to Love, Sex, and Stuff, and then said, I have a friend who, if you looked at, would say, man, this guy is a huge fucking virgin, but he has had sex. How do we show the world he's had sex?
Yeah.
And you and Nick iterated on the idea. You confirmed it was Mike Minotti, of course. So if you see Mike Minotti or you want to tweet at him right now, I heard you're not a virgin. Congratulations. Go for it. You guys said you should make a shirt that says, I've definitely had sex.
Yes.
Impact bold font and then a little bit of italics.
Just a little
not full
italics.
italics,
Yeah.
just a little bit of italics.
Yeah. I love that Greg has every detail.
I love Sex and Stuff. If you didn't watch it or listen to it last night, ladies and gentlemen, it's a fantastic piece of kind of funny content because it's heartfelt, it's disgusting, it definitely crosses all the lines of what you should know about your coworkers. I am always proud to see our cast of characters really become themselves and become kind of funny.
Yeah.
And last night, Blessing really became kind of funny.
100%,
And that's the thing of being in the office and like being able to work. Like he just came in to hang out, and then he asked the first question about 69ing, and then an hour and a half later, he was mounting Mike on the couch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also had the greatest quote of all time, where I literally almost crashed my fucking car pulling into McDonald's this morning for breakfast, where Blessing goes, oh, wait, I forgot one. And Nick goes, you forgot another sex position other than missionary.
Yeah.
That because all he could cut was your favorite position, missionary. And then he remembered one. And then
he had to show with Mike
it
what
was
it
great.
was.
It was awesome. What a great thing.
YouTube.com/kindafunny.
And
Does
again,
Craven Moorhead make an appearance?
As always,
Yes,
really
he
great
does,
advice.
yes.
Really great advice. You know, I think we give a lot of shit to Nick because he's awful, but like it's as a person, not as a host. He had a great answer last night to the guy from Ontario who was like, hey, I'm about to graduate with a game dev job.
Yes.
I have a girlfriend here. She doesn't want to leave Ontario. There's no jobs here. What do I do? And before he said anything, Nick said, what do you think the answer is?
Yep.
What should you choose? And the guy's like, my job. And you
Well,
guys went
there you
from
go.
there and iterated on the answer. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, man, I'm so proud of everybody
Wampa
involved
Slayer
in that one.
says Missionary Poppy.
Missionary Poppy,
If
baby.
you remind me, I will definitely introduce him that
I
way.
like that. I
when
like
I come
that.
back.
New
Not
Bless
next week.
nickname just dropped.
Oh man, that was some funny stuff. Yeah, of course. Shout out to Mike and Jeff Grubb for being a part of that. Yeah, shout out to Mike out there for being a part of it. But guys, we are ramping down today's KFGD
We got
post show.
zombies to slay.
We got zombies to slay.
Who do
Let's
you
talk
voodoo,
about
bitch?
that, Greg Miller, because of course we have another piece of content on the way for your Friday afternoon. We're jumping into the stream back in the lab. You are playing Dead Island 2 for a fun sponsored stream where you're jumping in to other best friends games, helping them slay zombies. Of course, myself and Andy are ready on the PlayStation side to help you get that sweet, sweet platinum trophy.
right.
And we have drops enabled. So, of course, if you want a sweet shotgun to go along with your
Shotty Bugatti?
Dead Island 2 gameplay, you can watch. Only need to watch for 20 minutes, but watch the whole thing and hang out with us. But we'll have drops enabled so you can earn that shotgun
If you
when you jump
got
in.
good to great internet right now, go to the tweet and use the little link they gave us and buy the PS5 version, and then you could be playing with us today.
Then you can come join Greg. That's right. And have
I
some
gotta
fun.
find them to get, guys.
But yeah, we got some games to play. We got a lot of great content. Of course, we do have an in review.
I do want to
later
talk
this
about that because
afternoon.
I'm really excited about this one. First off, the last thing I need to say about Love and Sex Stuff, if you guys aren't already excited to go watch it, is Nick broke me more than I think I've ever been broken, admitting that he has a quote-unquote weak doggy game. So definitely go check that out.
isn't even what really broke you.
No.
It was when,
Well, yeah.
if you got a weak doggy, what's your best position? And Nick's answer to that made you leave the stage.
Yeah, it was a trip. But in review is going to be super fucking awesome today because we're doing our Guardians of the Galaxy 1 rewatch leading into Guardian 3 in just a couple weeks. But we have a very special guest joining us, MT from New Rockstars, one of my favorite channels, one of my favorite dudes on the internet. He is so funny, so talented, and the fun fact about him is he has watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 more than any human being on the planet.
Oh, wow.
Because he is in the search of finding the final James Gunn Easter egg that still has not been found. So I think it's going to be really cool to talk to him about that epic journey he's been going on.
Well, you got some awesome stuff coming your way. And definitely now my interest has been piqued because I want to tune in and I want to know about that Easter egg and that journey. But we'll catch you back over here. Of course, if you're watching live on Twitch, the stream will continue going on. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, guess what? There's a brand new live link up right now. A number of you have already joined that live, but if you haven't already, give it a click. Hang out with us during this fun sponsored stream, and we'll spend the afternoon together slaying zombies in LA. With that, thank you for tuning in to week number 2 of our KFGD post show. Hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll catch you back here on Monday. Bye, everybody.